So, hello everybody and welcome. Yes, welcome back here at BSN Network. Here today, we'll go back here at BSN Network. This is the BSN Network podcast here today. It is Friday, November 6th. Hope everybody's having a good day so far and a good rest of their day yesterday. It is, in fact, Friday. It is a football Friday today. Going to be doing my game picks. Going to be doing a lot of good stuff today. Hopefully I had a good rest of their day yesterday and is having a good day so far today. It is, in fact, Friday, which is good. Now it is, in fact, the weekend coming up, which is obviously a positive thing. You always like the weekend, another big football weekend today or tomorrow. Obviously, starting off with today. If I don't know if you could see, but Miami jersey is on. Miami plays tonight, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on ESPN against North Carolina State. Should be a good game. North Carolina State, who is not a bad team. They're coming into this game 4-2, so, not a bad team. They were ranked earlier in the season. We'll see what North Carolina State team we face today. Is that the North Carolina State team we saw in the beginning of the year, or is that the North Carolina State team that we've seen lately? It's one or the other. North Carolina State at the beginning of the year was very good. Lately, they've been struggling a little bit, so it's going to be interesting to see how we play today. So hopefully Miami wins. Obviously, that should be a very exciting game to watch. I think Miami's got a pretty good shot at winning. I think our offense is very good. Defense is very good. Overall, North Carolina State has been struggling a bit. And I want to see, are we going to get that North Carolina State team we saw in the beginning of the year where people were talking about a possible top 15 team in the league? Or are we going to get a North Carolina State team where we've seen look like a team that's just not very good? What team will we get? That's going to be the big question. If we get the North Carolina State that's very good, it's going to be make for a good game. If we get to the North Carolina State we've seen lately, it's going to be more than likely more of a blowout in Miami's favor. So I like to see good games, but if it means Miami wins in a blowout, I'm okay with that. Anything to get a Miami win, I'm okay with. So obviously, we obviously got the NFL game picks. So this is today's topics today. NFL game picks / the Giants, Jets. I will not talk about today. On Monday, I will preview the Jets game. Obviously, they play Monday night. So technically, Saturday, I'm free. I'm going to switch through many games because Miami doesn't play Saturday. They play tonight. And then Sunday, I'm kind of free as well. So I'm going to scroll through a bunch of games on Sunday, watch a bunch of different games on Sunday, watch a bunch of different games on Saturday, and then Monday, obviously, I'll watch the Jets. So, I don't have any of my favorite teams this weekend playing. Miami doesn't play this weekend. Miami obviously plays tonight. If you want to technically count Friday night, the start of the weekend, I guess you could, but technically, Miami doesn't play on Saturday, and neither do Jets. So this weekend, I'm going to be watching a ton of different games. There's going to be flipping through and enjoying the football. So far, it's been so good. NFL has not had any new real outbreaks. They've had cases, but it hasn't translated into outbreaks. They're kind of following in the footsteps of the MLB. The first real outbreak was painful, and now they've found a way to really slow it down, slow the spread, and they are in a pretty good position to finish out this year. We got fantasy football overview. We'll give you all the fantasy news and notes, tell you questionables, kind of talk about last night. Obviously, we'll talk about last night's game. Kind of just give you just kind of get caught up in the fantasy news. Then we'll give you college football games, and then I'll preview tonight Miami North Carolina State game. One of two games tonight. Miami North Carolina State, which is the one I will be watching, and then the other one will be BYU Boise State. That's the other game. So obviously 2 games on tonight for college. Then tomorrow's a big college day, and obviously Sunday's football or NFL, and then Monday will be the dreadful New York Jets. We'll be playing then. So we got a good show lined up for you all. So with all that being said, this is the BSN podcast, and let's get right into it. So last night's game was a pretty much a blowout, to say the very least. And I saw that one coming. Obviously, you look at the matchups, you look at Aaron Rodgers, you look at Nick Mullins, you look how banged up that 49ers team is. I mean, that 49ers team is really, 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 really banged up. It is painful to watch if I was a 49ers fan. It is definitely very painful to watch. As a matter of fact, I've got to switch my thing. So right now I am 1-0 on week 9, and that moves me to 83-40 overall. So I finally finally got a pick correct on Thursday night. I'm now 4-5 on my Thursday night picks. So I'm 1-0 this week to start off week 9, which is always a good note. Always good to start off 1-0. That bumps me to 83-40 on the season. Not many change, just a win, so it doesn't change much. But that bumps me to 83-40 on the season. Now let's get into the game. So last night I said it on the podcast. I'm sure many of us expected it. When you look at the matchups, you look at, the two teams. We all saw it coming. The 49ers are an injured team. This is not the Niners season, right? They had a good year last year. We get it. We get it. They had a very good year last year. We understand that. But this year, this Niners team is just different. This just isn't the same Niners team. This just isn't the same team people are expected or are used to seeing, right? We saw a great year last year out of the 49ers. They made the Super Bowl. They blew a lead, but they made the Super Bowl, period. You made the Super Bowl. That's a pretty good accomplishment in itself. And now this year they're really struggling. And last night was a key thing. Was a big struggle last night for the for the Niners. And Nick Mullins is just not the answer. And then this is truly where I feel bad for this 49ers team. And I know it might sound crazy for me feeling bad for an NFL team, but it's the truth. This is a team that's gotten hammered with injuries. This is a team that has a lot of talent, and they've lost all that talent. Deebo Samuel, Raheem Mostert, Jimmy Garoppolo, Nick Bosa, Richard Sherman. He's got George Kittle. Can't forget about him, George Kittle. You're talking about a possible best tight end in all the league. Got injured. And it really is bad for this 49ers team. Now, I've always thought that this 49ers team was a little bit overrated. I think they're good, but I don't think what people expect them to be is, I've never thought this Niners team would be that good. I think they're good. Did I predict them to win the Super Bowl this year? No, a lot of people had them going again. I didn't think that was going to happen. But with all these injuries, this is just going to be tough to win. And I've seen it firsthand with the New York Yankees. I know how it feels for 49ers fan. It's very frustrating. It's got to be very frustrating because I've went through it for 2 straight years now with the Yankees, and I'm kind of going through with the Jets. The Jets have a ton of injuries. Yankees have had a ton of injuries. I know how it feels. It's just frustrating. You wonder how in the world these guys get injured. You just wonder it. Even especially some of these small injuries. Maybe like an ankle injury. That's not a small injury, but something like Garoppolo, where, it's just frustrating. Some of these injuries that maybe if or like a blown out ACL on Bosa, he probably made the wrong cut and it blew out, and there's this season. Those are just the frustrating injuries. You're going to have those injuries. He pulled his hamstring or something. That's a grade 1 pull. It's not that bad. You have those injuries. This is a Niners team that's just gotten hammered, and they look like they were a team that got hammered with their performance yesterday. So let's kind of get into the game yesterday. Obviously, the Green Bay Packers dominated. They looked good. Rodgers to Adams connection was just on point, which was good for my fantasy team. They got me 60 points combined. Rodgers got 36 and Adams got 23. So that's 60. And then we do decimals in my league, so round it up to about 60.38, I think, points. So I'm winning 60-0 in my one league. So I'm feeling pretty confident there. My one league, I would have to blow a 60-point lead in order to lose. So I don't want to say anything yet because the Sunday hasn't even started, and both of my running backs are still questionable. So I don't even want to say anything yet. But I am winning 60-0. Rodgers looked good, and I said this yesterday was a key to the game. You need to throw the ball a lot. I want to see a lot of throws. They did that. Rodgers threw the ball 31 times. They played well. I thought Rodgers looked good. I thought he really aired the ball out deep. I said that, throw it deep. Throw the ball deep. 4 touchdowns he had. Throw it deep. Air it out. Pick on the secondary. Bully this team, right? Do whatever you can to absolutely run over this team. That's what I wanted to see out of Aaron Rodgers, and he did that yesterday. Devontae Adams had another huge game. 12 targets, 10 catches, 173 yards, and a touchdown. Just another huge game by him. And this is a Packers team right now that's rolling. They're 6-2. Only 2 losses coming against the Buccaneers and the Vikings. But overall, when this team's on, you can make the argument they're one of the top 5 teams, top 3 maybe even in the league. This was the scoring overall, 34-17, Packers won. Just some kind of keys and notes of the game. Like I said, Thursday night game, I talk about it, but, obviously we got the whole other NFL to talk about. Kind of Thursday night, just kind of a quick summary of it. Was really just, the Packers, I thought really dominated, in the passing game. And I said this kind of just about a minute ago. I said for them to air the ball out to Rodgers, or to air the ball out, give it to Adams, give it to some of these other guys. Valdez Scantling had a big game, 2 catches, 4 targets for 53 yards and 2 scores. He had a big game. So kind of just guys like that. Rodgers was able to find his receivers. They were open. He went 25 of 31, which was really big. He tried 31. He threw the ball 31 times, and that was big. And the Packers did exactly what I wanted them to do on the defensive side of the ball. They were able to stop the run game, and they were able to stop the run game, and they were able to give the ball to Nick Mullins. Nick Mullins threw the ball yesterday 35 times, and that really hurt the 49ers. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He took a sack. Wasn't his worst performance ever, but it was decent, but it was not good enough to get the job done. He only threw for 192 yards or 291 yards, and Rodgers went for 305. So obviously, I said this yesterday. They forced Nick Mullins into mistakes. He obviously had the interception, which was a really bad throw and a bad read. It was not a good throw by him. I saw that play. I even watched over it again on my phone. It was just not a good play. I don't know what read he saw. I don't know if he saw anything different. Just not a good play. So obviously, he's got to be, it's got to be better for this Niners team. So anyway, here's my whole deal. Here's my whole thing. Here's my whole thing to kind of take away from this game. Niners were not able to stop Rodgers. Nick Mullins was not able to stop. Or the Rodgers or the Packers defense was able to stop Nick Mullins. Nick Mullins made some mistakes. That's kind of the quick keys to this game. Kind of just to go through. Aaron Jones had 15 rushing yards, 15 attempts, 58 yards. He struggled a little bit yesterday. Was not the best game ever. He did play, in fact, Aaron Jones. Scoring by quarter, Packers 7.7 in the first. 3, then 14. That was 21-3 going into half. Then 31-3. Then 31-3. And in the San Francisco 49ers added on 14 in the third quarter. It was 34-17. Added on 14 in the fourth quarter. 34-17. Packers win. They moved to 6-2 on the season, and I did in fact get that pick correct. Also, I just want to make one quick note here. My one other topic for later is Alex Cora. He got hired by the Red Sox. Just a horrible decision, and don't like the move at all. So I want to talk about that later. I was going to talk about it in the opening, but I forgot about it because I wanted to get into the football stuff. But yeah, I'm going to be talking about Alex Cora as well, and the last topic of the show. So that's kind of just what I got for the Packers. Tough game for the Niners. Packers come out victorious, kind of that stuff. So far, so good in Week 9 for my game picks as I'm 1-0. Bumps me to 83 and 40 on the year. And now we have the rest of the NFL to go through. Let me just go through the games quickly, and then I'll go by one. Titans, Bears, Broncos, Falcons, Giants, Redskins, Lions, Vikings, Panthers, Chiefs, Ravens, Colts, Seahawks, Bills, Texans, Jaguars, Raiders, Chargers, Dolphins, Cardinals, Steelers, Cowboys, Saints, Buccaneers, and then obviously the Jets, Patriots on Monday night. So now let's get into the picks. So here we go. We're just going to go down the line like you always know. At this point, it's old news by now, me telling you what I'm going to talk about. So let's go through the line, give you why I think a team's going to win, and that kind of stuff. So we'll start off with the Chicago Bears coming in at 5-3 versus the Tennessee Titans coming in at 5-2. Titans are 6.5-point favorites, and the over-under for this game is 46.5. This game is at 1 o'clock on Fox. Here's what I want to say about this Chicago Bears team, and so many people have said it around the NFL. So many people have said it, even just in sports in general. This is one of these teams that you're just not really, used to seeing. This is just one of these teams that's just having an odd year, right? This is just, a team that's having a decent, an odd year, but they're finding ways to win games. Here's my thing with the Chicago Bears. Their defense is very solid. Khalil Mack, Akeem Hicks, all that stuff. Their defense is solid. I will admit to that. But I don't fully trust their offense just yet. I don't fully trust their offense. Now, I understand there's a lot of favorable matchups this week for the Chicago Bears. That Tennessee secondary, if you're talking about fantasy-wise, gives up the second most fantasy points to receivers in all the NFL. That secondary gives up a ton of fantasy points. That secondary gives up a ton of big plays. That is the one flaw of this Tennessee Titans team. If the Bears want any way of winning this game, they're going to have to go out and they're going to have to go out there and they're going to have to really, really, really utilize this passing game. Throw it deep. Get a lot of deep balls. This is a secondary that's very thin, very weak, not a very good secondary. That's what the Bears want to do. I'm just not fully on this whole Nick Foles thing. Nick Foles, I have not think has played all that good. He has won him some ball games. He has gone him some wins, I understand. But personally, I do not think he's played all that good. I think he's played meh at best. I don't think he's the answer for the future. I think this is very well Bears team. If they get a top 15 pick, they should definitely look at a quarterback. Even if they get a first round pick in general, whether that's the 20th pick, whether that's the 10th pick, wherever it is, they should look at a quarterback, because there are a lot of quarterbacks in this draft. They should look at it, or even trade up for one, because I don't think Trubisky's the answer, and nor do I think it's Foles. And I do give the Titans the win here, and for one simple reason. I think their offense is just too overpowering. Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill, A.J. Brown, Jonnu Smith. Guys like that, you can make an argument they're all top 10 at their position. You can make an argument Derrick Henry's the best running back in all the NFL. All these guys, you can make an argument are the top 10 at each of their position. Maybe Tannehill right outside of the top 10 at top 15 at quarterback. But still, this offense is by far one of the better offenses on all the league. And they have shown to you, they've shown to the league, they've shown everyone, they can go out there in big games and make some big plays in big moments. And that's why I give the Titans the win here. I think they win pretty easily too. I'm just not fully on this whole Nick Foles thing. 31-14, they win, and I will take the over on the over-under, or under on the over-under of 46.5. Next up, this is a very interesting game. We got the Broncos coming in at 3-4, and the Atlanta Falcons coming in at 2-6. Falcons are 4-point favorites. Over-under is 5, or not over-under is 5. Over-under is 50. So I'm going to first tell you this. I think this game, you automatically take the over here. I think you automatically take the over on this game. I think you automatically go, whoop, right up like that. Automatically take the over in this game. And I will tell you why. Neither defense is overpowering. Both offenses can make big plays. That's what I want to say. First, before I even talk about each individual team, I just want to say, take the over. If you're putting any money on this game or whatever, take the over on the over-under. I think both of these teams are high scoring. Both these teams have good offense. Both these teams have not very good defenses, and we've seen it firsthand. We saw it last week with the Chargers. We saw it last week with the Falcons. Both these teams have overpowering offenses with the Broncos, obviously against the Chargers, Falcons against the Panthers on Thursday night last week. We've seen it. Both these teams have overpowering offenses. Now let's break down both teams. The Atlanta Falcons this season, you can make the argument, one of the better offenses on the league. When you're talking about their receiving core, Ridley is out for this game. That does make a big difference. Although he was out most of last game, he had the ankle injury. People fear that it is a little bit more severe than what a lot of people expected. Hopefully that's not the case, because you never like to see that out of anybody. And I also do like Ridley. I think he's a future star in this NFL. I mean, he's a solid receiver. You've seen flashes of greatness out of him this season and in years past. And I think if he stays with the Falcons, this could very well be a guy that could turn into a Julio Jones. Not exactly Julio Jones, but this could be a guy that turns into someone like him, where he's a big name in the franchise. A lot of people know him. He's been around the NFL. He could turn into that. They are missing him, but Julio Jones had a big week last week. They've shown that they can win without him. Todd Gurley against his Broncos defense, I think, will have a bounce back game after he had a little bit of a rough game against the Panthers. Not the best game ever. Had a touchdown, but just not the best game ever for Todd Gurley. But without a doubt, I do think the Falcons obviously have the better offense here. And as for the Broncos, I need to see more of winning. I understand the Broncos had a big win last week, that comeback win. You saw a lot of good out of KJ Hamler. You saw a lot of positives out of Drew Lock. I get it. I understand. But at the end of the day, I think the Falcons offense is just too overpowering at times. And we've seen it firsthand. Like I've said, you saw on national TV against Thursday night. We saw how good they can be. You saw how potent Julio Jones can be to opposing secondaries and opposing defenses. I give the Falcons the win here, and I think they win. High-scoring game, 38-35, Falcons win. I'm not even going to calculate that. All I know is I take the over on the over-under of 50. I don't think they cover. I think it's going to be a close game. 38-35, Falcons win. I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think they cover, but I do give them the win there. 38-35, take the way over on the over-under. And let me just try to think. 38 plus 20 is 58. So, just like that, 38-20 would have been over anyway. So, taking the over on the over-under of 50. Next up, we have the Giants-Redskins preview that game in just a bit. Then we have the Lions and the Vikings. The Vikings come into this game 2-5, coming off of a big win against the Green Bay Packers. They're 4.5 point favorites. Then the Detroit Lions coming in 3-4. Actually, a pretty pivotal matchup for them. They come in over under of 52.5. I'll tell you what, if the Vikings want to win this game, they've got to do exactly what they did against the Green Bay Packers last week, because they defeated a very good Green Bay Packers team. We saw it last night. We've seen what they can do. This is a Green Bay Packers team that's very good. This Vikings team, who is 2-5, looking for the future at this point. There's been some rumblings of firing, their head coach. There's been some rumblings of that. There's been rumblings all over this team. If this team wants to win Sunday's game, they have to run the ball like they did against the Green Bay Packers. You saw what Dalvin Cook did do. He had 3 touchdowns on the ground and 1 in the air. He had 4 touchdowns overall, 3 rushing, 1 catching. He had a phenomenal week. Give the ball to Dalvin Cook. Vikings, give the ball to Dalvin Cook. Give it to Dalvin Cook. And if you're going to throw the ball, give it to either Justin Jefferson, who's been a star receiver in his first year, by far one of the best coming out of the draft, or give it to Adam Thielen, who's had a great career for the Vikings so far. But I want to see Dalvin Cook run the ball a ton. I want to see him run the ball a lot more like he did last week. I just want to see it. If they want to win this game, you got to give Dalvin Cook the ball. You have to give him the ball if they want to win this game. If they don't win this game and you rely on Kirk Cousins a lot, that's going to be the reason. Got to give Dalvin Cook the ball. Feed him. He'll make opposing defenses pay for very little mistakes. So I do think the Vikings need to run the ball there. Their defense needs to stop this Falcons team, right? They do. And there's kind of up in the air on what's going to happen. Not this Falcons team. It's kind of up in the air on what's going to happen with the Lions. And the reason is because Stafford got placed on the COVID reserve, so I don't know what's going to happen if he's going to be in or out. But one key is they got to stop Kenny Galladay's out. Watch out for Marvin Jones Jr. He's going to be targeted a lot more. Kenny Galladay is doubtful, so more than likely he won't be playing, which is mainly their main threat. So now you got to cover Marvin Jones Jr. Make sure you eliminate him. Swift had a bad week this week. I want to see how he bounced back. Like I said, young player, I want to see how he bounced back off of a bad week like he did. I do give the Vikings the win here. I just think overall if they give the ball to Cook, they give the ball to this offense, it could be really potent. And I think the Vikings win. I think it's going to be 28-21. I think Cook has another 2-touchdown game. 28-21 they win. I take the under on the over-under of 52.5. And I think they cover. Next up, we got the Kansas City Chiefs coming in 7-1. We got the Chiefs coming in 7-1. 10.5 point favorites. Then we got the Panthers 3-5. The over/under is 52.5 for this game. Sorry, sneeze. Anyway, so here's my whole thing with the Panthers, right? We saw what they could do earlier in the season. We saw that they could be a decent team. At this point in the season, 3-5, I don't foresee them being that, gonna go out there and beat a team like the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm gonna give the Chiefs the win here. I think this is a very simple pick. I think this is a very easy pick to make. I say this every single week. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. Why not take them, right? And I think the Kansas City Chiefs win big. There's just too much on this offense. Le'Veon Bell, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, McCole Hardman, Sammy Watkins, Travis Kelce. Just too much on his offense. And on the defensive side of the ball, Chris Jones, Tyrann Mathieu, guys like that. It really is just, this team's just too kind of for guys like that. This team at times is just way too. It's just too overpowering. And what I saw out of the Panthers on Thursday Night Football is not the recipe in order to beat the Chiefs. I know a lot of people have talked about them earlier in the season being a team to possibly being a team to possibly win that South. I don't foresee that happening. I think the Chiefs win pretty easily, and I think they win very easily, as a matter of fact. 35-17. I think they win. And that means I will take the 45. Take the over on the over-under of 50. Actually, under, because it's 52.5. So I'll just take the under on the over-under of 52. Next up, we got the Ravens and the Colts. Ravens come into this game 5-2, 1.5 point favorites. Colts come into this game 5-2. Over-under is 48. Like I said, the Ravens, I to be honest, I've said this so many times about the Ravens. I have not liked what I've seen out of them that much this season. I don't think they've been all that good. I know they're 5-2, but I just don't really believe this is a team that's going to go very far in the playoffs. Mark, prove me wrong, Baltimore Ravens, but I just don't know if I could really see that happening. I do think this is going to be a pretty good game, though. I do think this is going to be a good game. You have an overpowering offense versus a very good defense, and then you have a good defense on the Ravens, but not a great offense on the Colts. That's the one thing that worries me about this Indianapolis Colts team. Their offense is just not the same. I just don't know if this Rivers combo stuff is just going to work. T.Y. Hilton has been silent all year long. I understand Mo Ali Cox has had a very good season. But all in all, I think this Ravens team wins, I think, for one reason. I think if it comes into like a shootout, I think they overshoot them because I think this Ravens team is a very good I think this Ravens team, the strength of their team is their offense. Although it has not been their best plays, I've said this so many times, I've not liked what I've seen out of the Ravens that much this year. But I do give them a win. I just don't know. This Charger, I'm not completely sold on this whole Colts team yet. They have a very good defense. I'm sold on their defense. Don't know if I'm sold on this offense. I just don't know if Phillip Rivers is the guy to take them to the place they want to ultimately be, and that is win a division and make the playoffs and go far in the playoffs. I just don't know if Phillip Rivers is the guy. Give Ravens the win. I think it's going to be a very close game. I think Ravens win 24-21, and I will take the 24-21. So that's 20, 34, 35. I take the over or under on the over 48. Next up, we got the Seahawks and the Bills. This is quite the game this week. Seahawks come into this game 6-1. They're 3-point favorites. Bills come into this game 6-2. Over under is 55. I'm gonna tell you what. I want to say something first of all. I want to say something about this matchup. This is a very good matchup. I will tell you that. I think this is going to be a very good matchup. And I think, honestly, it's going to be a close game. Now, do I think it's going to be insanely close? Do I think it's going to be a 1-point game? No. Here's my deal. Seahawks, their offense is very, very good, and there's not much else you could say. Russell Wilson to DK Metcalf by far has potential to be one of the better combos in the future of this NFL, and I think we can all agree on this. If you've seen Russell Wilson and DK Metcalf play, if you've seen this Ravens team play, you would understand, or not Ravens, you would understand where I'm coming from. If you've seen this Seahawks team play, you would understand where I'm coming from, right? And as for the Bills, Josh Allen has had a couple bad weeks in a row here. He had a pretty good week last week where he bounced back. And they obviously they obviously won last week. But they obviously won against the Patriots. He had a pretty good week then. But I think here's my one big thing with the Bills: they cannot mess up. This is a game where you might be thinking, well, of course they can't mess up. But this is a game where you have to limit the mistakes. If you want to beat a 7-1 or a 6-1 Seahawks team, and if you want to somehow, them coming from Seattle, if you want to somehow beat them, that is going to be very difficult for this team. It's gonna be a difficult task. I mean, this is a game that could very well put the Bills are right here, could put them up here. You look at the end of the season when you put into for standings and stuff and rankings and stuff, and you have this win on if you look at this game and you have this as a win, that is a very, very positive thing to look at. And as for the Bills, though, they have to limit the mistakes. They cannot make turnovers. They cannot make stupid mistakes. They have to limit it because against an overpowering offense like the Seahawks, if you make a mistake, whether that's on defense or offense, the Seahawks offense is going to make a pay. I think it's going to be a closer game, but I do give the Seahawks the win. I just think at the end, I think they're just overall the better football team. I think defensively and offensively, overall, they're a better football team. It's a secondary that's got to stop Russell Wilson. That's all I'm saying. And I will give you the Seahawks the win here, 35-31. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. And I take the over on the over-under of 55. And I think the Seahawks do cover, just barely, though. Next up, we got the Texans, and the Jaguars. This is a very, not very good game. Texans come into this game 1-6, 7-point favorites. Jaguars come into this game 1-6. Over-under is 50.5. So I'm going to tell you what. I think this is a pretty simple pick. I understand the Texans are 1-6. I understand that. But this is a Jaguars team. It looks like Minshew's going to be out another week. I don't know. This is just a Jaguars team that's falling apart. This is just a Jaguars team that's just not in a good position right now. They're just not in a position to be successful right now. Their defense, their offense, overall, this football team is not in a good position. They're 1-6. They're going to get a solid draft pick. I think they could very well possibly get Justin Fields in the draft. I think this Texans team, I understand they were going to sell at the deadline. I understand that. But I personally do think that this Texans team is going to come out win. I think they're going to win big. I know the Texans are 1-6, but it's a Jaguars team that's a lot worse than the Texans. They're just a lot worse. This is just a Texans team that's not very good. A Jaguars team that's not very good. Neither are the Texans this season, but I think Texans will come out. I think they'll win. And I think they'll show the NFL that, they're not awful, but, this is a bad season for the Texans, and I give them the win pretty easily here. This Jaguars team is just not good enough. Texans win 31-17 is the score there, and so it'd be 38, so 31-17, so that would be 48. So I'll take the under on the over-under 50.5. So now I move on to the Raiders and the Chargers. So the Raiders are coming to this game 4-3. Chargers coming to this game 2.5. The over-under is 51.5. I have not heard a spread on this game. I saw 1.5. Now it shows that there is no spread for this game, which means it's pretty much even. I'm going to tell you what. I've liked a lot what I saw out of Herbert. I've liked a lot what I saw about this Chargers team. I liked a lot what I saw out of Keenan Allen last week. Have seen Hunter Henry make plays this season. I understand that. And as a Chargers fan, it's very frustrating, I'm sure, because I went through with the Jets where you lose this many games and that you should be winning. It's a Chargers team that sits here at 2-5 now, and they've lost another game that they should be winning. And it's very frustrating, I'm sure, for Chargers fans and for the players as well. You have a game like this and you lose, and that's the problem. This Chargers defense just isn't good enough. I'm sorry. This is Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, guys like that. Their offense is just unbelievable. I mean, Herbert's insane. I mean, he's had a great career, great start to his career so far. And it's been everything the Chargers could ask for and some for this Chargers team. And as for the Raiders, I just don't know. Their offense is decent. Their defense is solid. But I do give the Raiders the win here. And I don't think their offense is all that good. But I do think they will win. And let me tell you why. The Chargers might be winning for most of this game, but I think the Raiders will come back from behind and win. And you want to know why? I've seen it too often with the Chargers where they blow these games. I've seen it way too often where they blow these games like that. And they just straight up can't win. I've seen it way too often, and it's just not a good thing to have happen to your team. So I do give the Raiders the win here, and I also think, their offense isn't great, but the Chargers' defense, I think, might be even worse. So I give the Raiders the win. I think it's going to be a pretty high-scoring game. 35-34, they win. I think it's going to be a close game. Raiders win 35-34, and I take the over on the over-under 51.5. Next up, we got the Dolphins and the Cardinals. Dolphins coming in off of a win. They're 4-3. Over-under 49, and the Cardinals come in 5-2. They're 4.5-point favorites. I think this game is simple. I know there's a lot of people that are jumping on this whole Dolphins, fandom stuff. Oh, this Dolphins team's going to be unbelievable. This Dolphins team, Dolphins this, Dolphins that, Dolphins this, Dolphins that. I don't know if I completely buy into it. I don't know if I completely can go ahead and sit here and tell you this, that the Dolphins are going to be a playoff team, be in the race to win the division. I just don't think that's going to happen. I give the Cardinals the win. If you've seen this Cardinals team play before, you saw them on primetime Sunday night against the Seahawks. You saw how good they are. I know they're without Kenyon Drake, but Chase Edmonds, their backup running back, is a very solid running back. DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk, Larry Fitzgerald, guys like this on their offense. Kyler Murray. His team's just overpowering on offense, and this Dolphins defense I just don't know if it's going to be able to withstand this Cardinals offense, and I don't know if it's come down to a shootout. I don't think the Dolphins are going to be able to keep up. I give the Cardinals win here, and I think they win pretty easily. 35-21 is my pick, and that means I take exactly even on the over under 49, and I think they cover Cardinals pretty easily. I think they're a very good team, the Cardinals. If you've seen them play, you would understand where I'm coming from. Next up, we got the Steelers coming at 7-0, and the Dallas Cowboys coming at an ugly 6-2-6. Steelers coming to this game 13.5-point favorites. Cowboys coming to this game 2-6. Over under is 42. I have not liked what I saw of the Cowboys. They might be starting Cooper Rush this week. They might be starting their fourth string. They might be starting a practice squad guy. It doesn't look like Ben DiNucci's going to get the start. It's the Cowboys team that has slowly crumbled down, and they're just falling right now, and they really are. We're up here, and now they're just falling. I don't think this is going to be a close game at all. I think the Steelers team that's 7-0 got a very good defense going up against a very bad offense, or a good offense that has a lot of skill, but just not overall a very, very solid team this season. And they get to the quarterback. Their secondary is good. This defense is just too overpowering for the Steelers, for that Cowboys team to, play good. And I think the Steelers team blows them out. I think they win 42-10, and I take the over on the over/under of 42. It's simple. Next up, we got the Saints and the Buccaneers to cap off the Sunday. We got the Saints coming in 5-2, over under 50.5. Buccaneers coming in 6-2, 4.5-point favorites. I'm going to tell you this. I'm basing off my pick off of what I'm expecting to see. If the Buccaneers play like they did against the New York Giants, Saints win this game. If the Buccaneers play like they did most of the season, Buccaneers win this game. I'm going to go ahead and say it's a division game. Buccaneers are home. They're coming off of a win, which is still good. 6-2, riding high, leading the division. I give the Buccaneers the win here. Now, the only way they don't win this game is if they play like they did against the Giants. They did not play well. Brady made a lot of bad throws. Brady's got to be more accurate if they want to win this game. I'm not a big fan of taking the Bucs, but at the end of the day, I do think it's going to be a right pick. I think the Buccaneers win this game pretty. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a pretty close game. But I think the Buccaneers win. I'm not totally sold on the Saints team. Michael Thomas might be back, but I don't know what the whole deal is with him. He's still limited at practice. I don't know. And even if he does come back, you might be able to shut him down. This is the Buccaneers defense that had a good week last week. Their offense is what's concerning me, and that's where they got to come out this week and play much, much better. I do give the Buccaneers the win. I think it's going to be a pretty high-scoring game. 31-28 Buccaneers win. Actually 35-28. I think they win. And that means I take the over on the over-under of 56 because 35-28, 42, 49. Yeah, so I'll take the over on the over-under of 50.5, and I think they cover 35-28. They win. Now let's move on to the Giants game here. So the Giants come into this game. 1-7, and the football team comes into this game 2-5. The Redskins are 2.5-point favorites. The Giants over/under is 43. I understand that the Giants come into this game with a worse record. I understand they are the underdogs here. But I don't know if I'm completely sold on this Washington team yet. And I know a lot of people are talking about them possibly being in very well contention with the Eagles coming down to the wire, which might sound crazy, but that is how the NFC East is this season, right? When you going down to the wire like that. Personally, I think this is a pretty simple game to pick. I'm not going to pick the Redskins, and here's my reason why. I just don't know if this is a Redskins team that I completely trust yet, right? I just don't know if I can completely trust this Redskins team yet. Kyle Allen, I've seen the Giants beat him earlier in the season. I think why not do it again? I just don't know with this team. I think this team needs a little bit of a makeover here. They need to get a new quarterback. They need to get couple new guys on defense. Their offense is their strength, but I think this is a Giants team that can definitely I think overall, if you're sitting here talking about, if you're sitting here talking about the Redskins on offense, they definitely have a younger team on offense. But their defense, they might have to get rid of some players and bring in some young guys. I give the Giants the win here. And the only reason I give them the win, I think it's a very low-scoring and boring game. I give them the win 17-14. It's going to be a low-scoring game. Neither offense is overpowering. Both defenses are decent. It's going to be like last game. 17-14, I think the Giants win. I take the under on the over/under 43, and the reason I do that, and I think they'll obviously beat them. The reason it is because I think their defense is pretty solid. I don't know if this Redskins offense is good enough to be. I don't know. I just don't really know if you can really sit here and tell me that. This is a Redskins team that's going to beat them. Now, if they do, what I saw early in the season was a was a Redskins team. What I saw early in the season was a Redskins team that was very good. It was a Redskins team that was pretty good. They beat the Eagles. They got a couple good games. They did lose, but they were in those games. They lost to the Giants, and I think it's going to happen again. Giants win this game, 17-14. So that's what I got for those game picks. So we'll just run through them again. Let's go. So I'll run through them again. Just kind of give you who I'm going to pick. Titans winning Falcons winning, Giants winning, Vikings winning, Chiefs winning, Ravens winning, Seahawks winning, Texans winning, Raiders winning, Cardinals winning, Steelers winning, and Buccaneers winning. We'll go through one more time. Titans winning, Falcons winning, Giants winning, Vikings winning, Chiefs winning, Ravens winning, Seahawks winning, Texans winning, Raiders winning, Cardinals winning, Steelers winning, and the Buccaneers winning. So that is my game picks for this week. I have put them all in. So yeah, should be another exciting and fun week of football here. I think it's going to be. There's a lot of good games on this week, so it should be a lot of fun to watch. Coming up next, fantasy football overview. Alrighty, so let me just get this up here. Alrighty, so alright, here we go. So it is in fact week 9 of the NFL season, and it is in fact week 9 of the fantasy football season. We got a lot of news to talk about in fantasy football. Let me just give you a run through quickly of what went on last night with the Packers game. The Packers obviously won 34-17. Talked about it earlier on in the show. Blew them out. Had a feeling that was coming. I think a lot of people did. And also, Aaron Rodgers, I think Devontae Adams, we all expected him to have big games. Rodgers had a big game. He had 36.9 points. He had 36 points, 305 yards, 4 touchdowns. Adams had a big game, 10 catches, 173 yards, and a touchdown. And 36 and 23, combine them two together. Right now, I am winning 60-0. I'm projected to win 134-89, so I'm in a very good position to win this game this week, which is huge. And as for my other league, like I said, I was in a little bit of an awkward situation. As for my other league, I'm losing right now 28-0. As Rodgers got him 28, I'm losing 28-0. But it's going to be tough. He's projected 109. I'm projected 107. I still got Watson, Robinson, Elaire, Hill, Evans, Allen, Henry, Brown, Washington defense, and Daniel Carlson. And also my bench is Kenyon Drake, Antonio Gibson, Rams defense, Chris Godwin, Bill Burrow, and Chase Edmonds. One questionable that popped up there is A.J. Brown. But we'll go to my other team first. That is, in fact, winning right now 60-0. So let's kind of run through that. So at the moment, Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams already played. These are the players I still have to play. Ezekiel Elliott, Chris Carson, Allen Robinson, Rob Gronkowski, Todd Gurley, Washington defense, and Harrison Butker. I know I did predict the Giants to win, but I think it's going to be an ugly game. I predicted low scoring, so I would still recommend putting in either one of the defenses. Perfectly fine. Either offense, I think, is going to have a good game. So I put in Washington defense, Giants defense. Actually, Giants defense was available. It was available. I don't know. I'm probably more than likely to put in Washington defense. Todd Gurley's obviously play. I said this earlier in the podcast. Denver defense, I don't like it. I don't think it's all that good. So Todd Gurley is in fact playing. Gronkowski against New Orleans. I put him in. I might be streaming tight ends. I might be making moves with the tight end position, but I am in fact putting him in. I like what I've seen out of him the past couple weeks, 3 straight weeks with a touchdown, so I'm putting him in again. He's a bad week. It's going to be on a short leash. Tight ends, obviously, with Kittle that got moved to IR. Tight ends have been, if he has, it's going to be on a short lease. If he has a bad week, I might get rid of him and pick up somebody else. It's going to be a short lease. It's kind of be whoever can get into me. I might try out a couple of them, see how they do, and then whoever does best, if I make the playoffs, then I'll fit him in for that week. That's kind of really the whole deal there. As for Allen Robinson, like I said, Tennessee's letting up the second most fantasy points to receivers. I talked about it earlier on in the show when I was previewing the game. I would definitely recommend putting him in, right? You're talking about it. You've heard about it all week long, how this Tennessee team is not very good, or defense is not very good. Neither is this Bears offense, but Allen Robinson has been very, very, very good ever since Nick Foles took over. Some questionables are Ezekiel Elliott. He has a hamstring injury. Real no new news on there. Chris Carson, this came out today. Carson foot did not practice Thursday. Brady Henderson of the ESPN.com report of ESPN.com report. So that was yesterday. No new news on today, although they probably have not started practice yet for today. So keep an eye out for that. Like I said, you got to keep your eye out. And I would recommend this. This is already out of a backup decision. If one of them is out, I personally think if it is going to be one of them, it's going to be Chris Carson that's going to be out. I think Elliott will play. McCarthy said it's not a big deal. I think he'll play. I think he's also going to try to play because they're playing the Steelers. They're going to try to get as many assets as they can in there. I do think Elliott will play. Carson, I'm a little worried about. If, in fact, Carson does not play, this is probably my move I'm going to make. Put in Todd Gurley at Carson's spot, which is the running back 2, and my flex will either be DJ Moore or David Johnson. Probably David Johnson. I'll probably put in David Johnson. I'll do a 3 running back set still because that was my whole plan this week. Liked my 3 running backs. Liked the choice I was having with them. Liked the matchups. So that's why I did a 3 running back set there. So I would probably fill Todd Gurley's shoes in if he goes to running back 2 to David Johnson there. So that's kind of what I'm going to probably do at the flex position. And then kind of just, my 2 wide receivers, Devontae Adams, Allen Robinson. That's kind of the whole goal there with. So Elliott and Carson, just keep your eyes out. Like I said, just keep your eyes out for them. If in fact they are both out, you could do something like me, put in your flex, or if you don't have a running back for some reason, you don't have a running back on your bench, you could always pick one up. Not a problem there. And as for my other league, I have Deshaun Watson, James Robinson, Elaire, Tyreek Hill, Evans, Keenan Allen, Hunter Henry, A.J. Brown, Washington defense, and Daniel Carlson. A.J. Brown, there was some news on him. He's questionable. Brown knee didn't practice Thursday, which is not good news there. I already know what I'm going to do with him. If he does not play, I will either put in Chris Godwin or Chase Edmonds. It's kind of what one or the other. Problem with Chris Godwin, he's also questionable. Godwin's finger was limited participant during Thursday's practice, so he was questionable. So it's kind of also still a put up there. I might put the healthiest guy in, which is Chase Edmonds, just because I feel like he could probably have the best points. He's also projected 13, and people are expecting him to have a big week. Obviously, against a Miami team like that, and without Kenyon Drake, they're expecting him to have a big week. So obviously, more than likely, that is my team there. Kind of keep everyone in. James Robinson against Houston, I would recommend it. James Robinson has just been so good this season, especially without Minshew. They're going to rely on the run game big time. Deshaun Watson against that Jacksonville secondary, definitely a favorable matchup there. And like I said, in my other league, I am keeping an Elliott in them. I just want to see what he does and see if he can have a better week. Hopefully they are healthy, and hopefully my team is full strength, because that's when your team's full strength, it's almost like the Niners and stuff. It does hurt your team. When your team is full strength, it makes a big difference. So obviously, going to be an interesting week coming up in the weekend coming up. Obviously. So anyway, alrighty. So this. Sorry about that. I was just writing some stuff on MLB Bleacher Report, because obviously you have the whole situation with Alex Cora going on there, and I'll get to that in just a second. So how does he deserve a second chance? In my opinion, he should not be. Man. Okay. So anyway, now we get into my college game picks and the Miami and North Carolina State game. Let me get to it here. Okay, so here we go. So the college game picks for this week. I'll get to Miami in just a second. I'll preview them in just a second. These are the upcoming games. We got BYU, Boise State. I give BYU the win. Wilson, their quarterback, has looked amazing. He's on the Heisman watch, projected to be a draft pick this season, has looked amazing. BYU the win. Arizona State, USC, give a USC the win. Liberty, Virginia Tech. Liberty is ranked. Don't like them in this matchup, though. I think Virginia Tech's the better team. Michigan, Indiana, give Michigan the win. SMU, Temple, give SMU the win. West Virginia, Texas the win. UMass, Marshall, give Marshall the win. Florida and Georgia, this is a big game here. I give Georgia the win. I think, Florida, I'm not too sold on if Trask is the real deal or not. He's very good, but I don't know how they're going to respond. They had a little bit of an interesting stall there in the games. I think Georgia's the better team. Cincinnati, Houston, Cincinnati wins. Oklahoma, Kansas, Oklahoma wins. Oklahoma State, Kansas State, Oklahoma State wins. Baylor, Iowa State wins. Texas A&M, South Carolina, Texas A&M wins. Rutgers, Ohio State wins. Stanford, Oregon wins. And in Coastal Carolina, South Alabama, Coastal Carolina wins. And then I have Clemson, Notre Dame. I give Clemson the win there. I know they have a backup quarterback. I understand. But what I saw last week was a good team. If they limit the turnovers, they should win that game. And now we move on to tonight's game, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Miami comes in to play North Carolina State. Miami's 10-point favorites. Over-under is 58.5 for this game. Personally, I think this is going to be a pretty decent game. And I've already made my pick here if I could go ahead and find it. Like I said, it's a big game. Miami, these are winnable games. I do think Miami wins 35-24. I think they win 35-24, and I think they cover the 10, the spread. And let me just calculate this really quickly. 59. It's 58.5. So I think Miami wins 35-24. I think they cover. I think they cover, and I take the over on the over/under 58.5. So that's my pick for the Miami game. So go Miami. It's going to be a good game. I'm excited. And now we move on to the news of Alex Cora. And this news absolutely frustrates me because I'm going to sit here and tell you this on this podcast. I personally think that the New York Yankees, or not the New York Yankees, sorry, I'm going back and forth. So Bleacher Report, there's like an app where you can go back and forth with people talk about sports. So I'm talking about people with the whole scandal stuff, and it's kind of frustrating because there's some people on the app that are backing him up, and to me, that just sounds outrageous that you're backing someone up like an Alex Cora. And I will tell you this: I never ever will ever agree with somebody if someone cheats. If the Yankees were to cheat, I would be very angry. I would still root for them, but I would be very angry if the Yankees were to cheat. And I would live up to that. The Astros cheated, and Alex Cora was the person behind this all. Okay? AJ Hinch or Alex Cora should not be able to ever step on a baseball field again, and I don't think that's outrageous. And people say, oh, well, second chances. Did you know what he did? People, when you're talking about second chances, did you know what he did to the sport of baseball? Baseball hit a very dark time with him. And the fact that he only got 1 year suspension and he is now back coaching again is completely stupid and outrageous to me. He should not be coaching baseball again. And I understand everyone has their opinion here. I understand. But in my personal opinion, I do not think he should be coaching again, and he should be banned from baseball. And I think the reason this is because I think the reason he should not be coaching again is because of what he did. He had these bang on the garbage cans. The players knew. Who knows if Altuve was doing the buzzer. They stole World Series against the Dodgers. They obviously stole an MVP from Judge. Altuve stole an MVP from Judge. And overall, this team was a horrible thing to happen for MLB baseball. And you're going to sit here and tell me you're going to put him back in another coaching position? Rob Manfred and the whole commissioner and all these owners and stuff handled this terribly. They handled this terribly. He should have got way more than 1 season. This Astros team should have got punished way more than what they did. It was stupid. They didn't barely even punish him. Outrageous. These players knew what was going on. They did nothing about it. And he's back on the coaching field, which is completely outrageous and dumb to me. You obviously had Alex Cora and AJ Hinch, now Hinch by the Tigers, now Cora by the Red Sox. Completely stupid and outrageous. Disagree with the move. I do not think they should be able to step on a baseball field again. So, obviously, you're going to have to, obviously it's horrible. It's a horrible thing to happen, and once again, the MLB's taking a hit because I disagree with this move. I do not think Alex Cora should be coaching ever again, and I think 90% of MLB fans can, except those occasional 5% Red Sox fans and those 5% Astros fans that are completely biased to their team. So, that's my deal with this whole Red Sox thing. So, anyway, it's going to be interesting to see really what happens with the whole Red Sox thing. I mean, I don't know. I just disagree with it. I don't know. I don't know how much more has to be said. They cheated. I mean, they cheated. You're going to sit here and tell me it's okay for that to happen? Outrageous to me. And he's back on the coaching field again. So anyway, let's think of the positive, I guess. Miami plays tonight, obviously, like I said. We obviously have another big football weekend ahead of us. So enjoy your football weekend. Should be another good weekend of football. We got Miami. We got Miami. We got Jets on Monday, and we got a whole slate of tomorrow's games. So enjoy your football weekend. I'll see you all back here on Monday talking about it all. So enjoy your football weekend. I'll see you all back here on Monday, like you all know. Take breaks on the weekend. So I'll see you all back here on Monday. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.